Most people see the pentagram and think they already know what it means. They see a five-pointed star and instantly connect it to fear, taboo, or something forbidden. But that reaction says more about the modern imagination than it does about the symbol itself. Because for much of history, the pentagram was not treated as a sign of darkness, but as a diagram of order, life, protection, intelligence, and the hidden structure of creation itself. And the deeper you go into its history, its geometry, and its use in sacred traditions, the stranger and more beautiful it becomes. By the end of this video, you may never look at the pentagram the same way again. What appears to be a simple star has actually been understood by philosophers, mystics, magicians, and initiates as a map of the universe, a map of the human being, and a map of the divine presence woven through all things. To understand why, we need to begin with something basic, because many people confuse related symbols. A pentagon is the five-sided shape. A pentagram is the five-pointed star formed by connecting five lines in a continuous pattern. And a pentacle is usually the pentagram enclosed within a circle. That distinction matters because in esoteric traditions, form is never accidental. A line, a boundary, an angle, a center. All of these carry meaning. The pentagram is powerful not because someone arbitrarily declared it sacred, but because its structure itself suggests proportion, relation, and living. Order. Even before theology or ritual was added to it, the pentagram was already speaking the language of harmony. Its roots stretch far back into the ancient world. Variations of the symbol appear in Mesopotamian contexts, where it could mark direction, order, or significance. In the Greek world, it became closely associated with the Pythagoreans. This was the school around Pythagoras that saw numbers not as a dry abstraction, but as the skeleton of reality. For them, mathematics, music, ethics, and cosmology were not separate things. They were different expressions of one hidden harmony. The pentagram, sometimes called the pentalpha, became a symbol of recognition among them, and it was linked to health, balance, and the perfection of proportion. That alone should make us pause. One of the most intellectually serious, mystical, and philosophical schools of the ancient world treated the pentagram not as a superstition, but as a sign of cosmic order. And this is where the symbol begins to open up, because the pentagram is inseparable from sacred geometry. Hidden inside it are repeating ratios that reflect what later traditions would call the golden ratio. That mysterious proportion appears in art, architecture, plants, shells, and patterns of growth. The pentagram contains self-similarity within itself. If you draw it once, smaller pentagrams emerge inside it. It reproduces order from within order and pattern inside pattern, as if it were visually hinting at a universe built through nested intelligence. In my opinion, this is one of the reasons the pentagram has fascinated initiates for so long. It does not just symbolize harmony, it performs harmony. It shows how unity can unfold into multiplicity without ceasing to be one. That is why the pentagram became more than geometry. It became anthropology and theology. In many esoteric traditions, the human being is placed within the pentagram. 1 point above and 4 points extending outward. Head, arms, and legs. The body itself appears as a living star. This is not just a poetic image. It expresses one of the oldest spiritual ideas in the world, which is the human being as a microcosm, a little universe, a bridge between matter and spirit. The same laws that shape the heavens also shape the soul. The same patterns that govern the cosmos are reflected in consciousness, in embodiment, in moral struggle, and in awakening. When the pentagram is read this way, it says something radical. Man is not cut off from creation. Man is creation in miniature. And this is where the symbol becomes even more profound. In the Western esoteric tradition, the 5 points are often associated with the 4 classical elements, which are earth, water, air, and fire, crowned by a fifth principle, which is spirit. Earth is structure, body, form, and stability. Water is emotion, intuition, dissolution, and memory. Air is thought, language, intellect, and movement. Fire is will, energy, desire, and transformation. And above them, or within them, is spirit. This is the unifying principle, the breath of life, and the invisible center that gives meaning to the rest. This is why the pentagram has been read as a symbol of the divine in creation. It does not portray spirit as something separate from the world, but as something that orders, penetrates, and illuminates the world from within. That idea is central to the perennial philosophy. The one becomes many, but remains present in the many. The divine is not absent from matter. It is veiled in it. If that idea resonates with you, comment below which of the 5 forces, earth, water, air, fire, or spirit, you feel is most active in your life right now. Sometimes a symbol becomes real only when you can locate yourself inside it. This elemental reading also explains why the pentagram appears across traditions that seem very different on the surface. In pagan and nature-based systems, it has often represented the living wholeness of the natural world, the sacred cycles of life, and the interdependence of forces. In certain forms of later occultism, it became a diagram for ritual work, inner mastery, and energetic orientation. In some Christian contexts in the medieval world, the 5 points could even be read in relation to the 5 wounds of Christ. This made the symbol a sign not of rebellion against the sacred, but of sacrifice, truth, and divine mystery embodied. That is one of the most important things to understand about the pentagram. Its meaning has never been frozen. It shifts across cultures and eras, but beneath those shifts, a deeper structure remains. Again and again, it points to relationship, integration, and hidden order. By the time we enter the world of ceremonial magic and initiatic practice, the pentagram becomes even more technical. Orders and esoteric schools in the modern West, especially those shaped by Hermetic revival currents, treated the pentagram as an operative symbol. It was not merely something to admire, but something to use. In ritual, the pentagram could mark the control of elemental forces, the purification of space, the setting of boundaries, the invocation of higher principles, or the alignment of the practitioner with cosmic law. This is one reason the symbol appears so frequently in magical diagrams and training systems. To the outsider, drawing a pentagram may look theatrical. To the initiate, it can function as a disciplined act of orientation. It is a way of placing the self back into the right relationship with visible and invisible worlds. Eliphas Levi, one of the most influential occult writers of the 19th century, helped shape the modern esoteric understanding of the pentagram as a symbol of the human being, human will, and spiritual authority. Later authors, including Pappus and Manly P. Hall, expanded these symbolic interpretations, tying the pentagram to initiation, hidden wisdom, and the architecture of the soul. Even where these writers differ, they return to a common insight. The pentagram is not just about external forces. It is about inner government. It asks whether spirit truly rules the elements within the person, or whether the person is ruled by fragmentation, impulse, confusion, and imbalance. And this, I think, is where the symbol stops being abstract, because experienced practitioners do not only use pentagram symbolism in formal ritual, they apply its logic inwardly. Earth asks, how grounded am I? Water asks, what is flowing? Through me emotionally? Air asks, what thoughts are shaping my reality? Fire asks, where is my will being directed? Spirit asks, what is the higher principle organizing all of this? When I first understood the pentagram in that way, it stopped being a symbol I looked at and became a mirror I had to answer to. That, to me, is when esoteric knowledge becomes alive. Not when it sounds mysterious, but when it becomes spiritually diagnostic. This also helps explain why initiatic and symbolic societies have been drawn to pentagrammic imagery. including forms of the blazing star in certain Masonic interpretations and broader Western esoteric currents. The star becomes a sign of awakened intelligence, the inner light, the spark of divine reason in man, and the hidden center from which order radiates. Different schools frame this differently, and serious students should always be careful not to flatten distinct traditions into one system. But the recurring intuition is clear. The true star is not merely above you. It must ignite within you. So why, then, did the pentagram become so feared? Why did a symbol of harmony, wholeness, and divine human correspondence become, in the popular mind, a symbol of evil? The answer is partly historical, partly polemical, and partly theatrical. Over time, especially in modernity, symbols were stripped from their original philosophical frameworks and recoded through religious conflict, occult sensationalism, and later popular culture. Orientation also became a major point of interpretation. In some later systems, the upright pentagram suggested spirit governing the elements, while the inverted form could suggest the dominance of lower forces over the higher. But even here, context matters. Symbols do not speak in a vacuum. They speak through traditions, teachings, and intentions. A symbol can be degraded, dramatized, misunderstood, or weaponized by culture. That does not erase its deeper history. If this video is helping you, see the pentagram in a completely different way, leave a like, because that tells me you want more deep symbolic breakdowns like this. It also helps this kind of serious esoteric content reach the people who are actually searching for it. Now we can return to the deeper question hidden in the beginning. How does the pentagram explain creation, divinity, and the connection between man, God, and the universe? It does so by presenting a vision of reality in which spirit and matter are not enemies. The many emerge from the one. The elements are not chaos, but differentiated expressions of one living intelligence. The human being is not an accident floating in a dead cosmos, but a participant in a meaningful pattern. The body, the soul, nature, number, proportion, and transcendence all belong to one continuum. This is why the pentagram has endured, not because it is controversial, but because it encodes one of the oldest spiritual intuitions humanity has ever had. That the universe is ordered, that this order is sacred, and that man can come into conscious alignment with it. And maybe that is the real secret. The pentagram is not powerful because it gives you control over the universe. It is powerful because it reminds you that you were never outside the universe to begin with. You are already inside the pattern. The question is whether you are living in harmony with it or in forgetfulness of it. So the next time you see a pentagram, do not rush past it as if you already know what it means. Ask a deeper question. Is it a star of fear or a star of remembrance? Is it a symbol of fragmentation or a symbol of reintegration? And maybe most importantly, what does it reveal about the relationship between the visible world and the invisible principle sustaining it? Comment below with the first word that comes to your mind right now when you hear the word pentagram. I am genuinely curious whether this changed your perspective. Subscribe if you want more videos that decode the deeper meaning behind symbols. Share this with someone who still sees the pentagram only through modern stereotypes. And at the end of this video, click the playlist on screen. Because if this symbol opened one door, the next ones only get deeper.